help needed in a separation. Where to start? The beginning, I suppose. And with the facts. After almost 6.5 years together, and 5 of them being married, my wife and I are in the early, middle stages of separating. She decided earlier this year to finally tell me why the physical side of our relationship had always been terrible after the first few months. And that was because she was a lesbian and didn't like men but had been too scared of what people would say if she admitted it. So the situation is this. I have a job that I cannot keep up if my wife moves out, as I cannot pay the bills and pay for childcare, and I will not let her take our daughter with her as she is going to end up renting the room, and that is it due to her unwillingness to do what needs to be done to support herself, and also a complete lack of money sense or the ability to control her spending. I can't even afford to pile the bills on my salary alone, so I will probably have to sell my house and move myself and my daughter back in with me mother. Who knows how long for. The main thing I would like advice on, if anyone has any, is what legally can I do with the equity from the sale of the house, as even before DD arrived, the money my wife contributed usually only just covered the food and the outstanding debts she had built up before meeting me that I paid off for her. And since its arrival, what she contributes does not even cover the food bill each month. As she is the one that after all this time has suddenly sprung these changes on me, is there any way I can hold on to more than 50% of the equity, as I want totally to save the money and use it towards the deposit for a new place of my own, so Dee and I have our own house flat. Thanks for any advice in advance. Sambo, and the mortgage is in both names, but on the application for one of the additional comments that was placed there was that my wife would not be paying anything towards it. She has a part-time job that she is going to have to do more hours at just to survive, as she doesn't even earn enough currently to rent a room and pay for her food. As for her not taking our DD with her, that one is still under discussion, argument. We have sort of agreed that she will look after her in the day and I will have her nights and most of the weekend, but as she has yet to keep more than 1% of her promises to me, I think any agreement we have may end up being ignored at some point, and she will try to get custody, at which point she will have a real fight on her hands. Thanks ladies, I have been lucky that so far things haven't got nasty and we have managed to share the house without too much trouble, but both of us know that it is a when not an if that my wife moves out. It is all just in the timing. Stuart C. Good advice. And the only way I'm leaving this house is the day I sell it. Jim Jams, I don't know if the term flaky is really appropriate. She is more like a teenager without the common sense to look at things objectively than flaky, but I know what you mean. To bear honest, considering it is all her idea to finally come clean after all these years and finally getting everything she told me she ever wanted, then I'm in half a mind to tell her that she is getting nothing, but I'm not that mean. Hopefully we can sort something out money-wise, but if not, then the only winners are the lawyers. Jasper, I'd love to settle things without lawyers. As for agreeing about DD staying with me, she has, but only after I told her that if she decided to fight about it, then I'd fight and win, and She knows I'd do it, as all through our marriage what she has contributed to the house has mainly been food and debts and a history of no control over her spending. Whereas I have always been the major breadwinner and basically pay for everything but the food each month. Sambo and the mortgage is in both names, but on the application for one of the additional comments that was placed there was that my wife would not be paying anything towards it. She has a part-time job that she is going to have to do more hours at just to survive, as she doesn't even earn enough currently to rent a room and pay for her food. As for her not taking our DD with her, that one is still under discussion, argument. We have sort of agreed that she will look after her in the day and I will have her nights and most of the weekend, but as she has yet to keep more than 1% of her promises to me, I think any agreement we have may end up being ignored at some point and she will try to get custody, at which point she will have a real fight on her hands. Thanks ladies, I have been lucky that so far things haven't got nasty and we have managed to share the house without too much trouble, but both of us know that it is a when not and if that my wife moves out. It is all just in the timing. Stuart C. Good advice. And the only way I'm leaving this house is the day I sell it. Jim Jams, I don't know if the term flaky is really appropriate. She is more like a teenager without the common sense to look at things objectively than flaky, but I know what you mean. To bear honest, considering it is all her idea to finally come clean after all these years and finally getting everything she told me she ever wanted, then I'm in half a mind to tell her that she is getting nothing, but I'm not that mean. Hopefully we can sort something out money-wise, but if not, then the only winners are the lawyers. Jasper, I'd love to settle things without lawyers. As for agreeing about DD staying with me, she has, but only after I told her that if she decided to fight about it, then I'd fight and win, and she knows I'd do it, as all through our marriage what she has contributed to the house has mainly been food and debts and a history of no control over her spending. Whereas I have always been the major breadwinner and basically pay for everything but the food each month. First wife. Oh, for more women like you. Tiger Mothsha hasn't said straight out that she wants half the cash from the sale of the house, but we had discussed the possibility of my GF buying her out of the house when, if she decides it is time to move in with me. My great fear is handing over what could be up to £30,000 to her and seeing her blow it all because she has no control where money is concerned, instead of using it on our daughter to provide a better future for her. Aloha. I had heard that judges could decide what happens to any assets. As for access to DD for both of us, the current plan is for my wife to have her in the daytime during the week and I will have her in the evenings and weekends, so that I can still work in the day and my wife can supposedly do evening work. She has always been against doing that much work though, even to the point of refusing to get an evening job last year when I got laid off, and I told her it may be needed. At the time she would rather have seen us sell the house than go out to work each night. Currently, she is not too happy about the fact that she may have to work most evenings, as it will cut into her available time for socializing. I do not plan on leaving the house till it has to be sold. As it is, my wife is now in the spare room, and if anyone goes it will be her. I'm not so much angry with her as upset that the person I gave my heart to could not tell me what her real feelings were. As for her taking things to court, we both want to avoid that, and I hope I have helped that along by not acting irrationally since everything happened. My wife no longer has any debts, as I have paid off every debt she has run up, ones before we met and ones after. And I don't think she has ever paid me back even 50% of what she owed. As for the GF, well, I met her about 4.5 months ago by accident, and things have progressed from there. Bit of a long-distance relationship though, as she lives in Holland. But we stay in touch by phone and internet. And we have the phone bills to prove it. And try to get over to see each other every 4 to 6 weeks. EasyJet is a godsend. My wife has not met anyone else so far that wants a relationship, but then again she does come over as being desperate. A number of friends have said this to me after seeing her trying to chat people up. And I think it is putting people off. Sober no thanks for the name of the website, I will check it out soon. Aloha, I understand what you are saying. I did offer to do evening work and look after my DD during the day, as this would let my wife work day shifts, but she turned that down flat. To be honest, she doesn't like working, and even when we did not have children was not overly happy about having to do a full working week. Currently she is more interested in finding opportunities to go out on the pool than she is to do work. And she also seems to think me doing 60 to 84 hours a week to pay for the house and all the bills is fine, and that there is nothing wrong with her not working more. As for the debts, I wouldn't even know where to begin. She must owe me at least £4 minus 5,000, but I basically wrote it off at the time as part of the cost of the partnership called married life. In the case of my DD's routine currently, she is used to daddy getting home and then playing with her for a while before she goes to bed, and during that time mummy slips off to work on the nights she now works. She only does 3.5 hours max a night, and then only 3 nights a week. So with the time she spends up looking after my daughter, it's about 14 hours a day max all told. So currently I only do an hour or so less a day of work and childcare on average. It's just a shame that most of it is work, not seeing my daughter grow up. Jan Star, when my wife and I first discussed the separation, he main idea was totally give up work and get the council to give her a place to live, preferably a 2-bedroom flat, and then claim benefits. Needless to say, I spent many hours talking things over with her and finally got it into her head that it doesn't work that way. We even went through recently how much it would cost to survive on her own, and then worked out how many hours a week she'd need to work, and her first answer was that she wasn't going to work that much, as she'd never have time to date or socialize. Needless to say, I got a bit mad at that point and pointed out that she was in her mid-30s, not 17, and that she should grow up and act responsibly, otherwise how was I ever going to be able to trust her to look after our daughter on her own? But if I had to give it all up to my wife and walk away with only the clothes on my daughter's and mine's back because that was the best way, then I'd do it. If me handing everything over and seeing my daughter once a month was the best thing for her, I'd do it. As it is, I have no problem with my wife. Don't forget to share, like and subscribe for more content.